Welcome to this workflow demo series from Audiginal and this particular demonstration looking at document bursting, sorting, the addition of branding, promotional vouchers, email archiving and printing. I'm Stephen Lockyer and I'll be joined by my colleague Nick Pugh, who will take us through the demonstration in a few minutes' time. First, a little bit about Audiginal. We are an established European business-to-business distributor of software, solutions, and the associated services and hardware. We're focused on print, capture, document workflow automation, and speech recognition solutions and services, and we have a broad portfolio of market-leading solutions and brands. We are independent, we are privately owned, and we benefit from having our own pre-sales, implementation, and technical support resources. The intent of this workflow demo series is to highlight and demonstrate specific software solutions and services, to explain these features and benefits that the resellers can enable for their end customers, along with the issues and opportunities that can be addressed, to provide resellers with the information and confidence to open relevant discussions with their customers, and to ensure that resellers are aware of the solutions and professional services that are available to them from Audiginal. As I said, this demonstration is covering document bursting, sorting, the use of branding, promotional vouchers, email, archiving, and print. So there is actually quite a lot going on. But let's look at a typical customer scenario. The customer has a document distribution process or requirement, and in this case, we are using invoices. It is currently a paper-based manual process with no specific security or error prevention. The customer would like to simplify and automate as much of the process as possible, removing manual tasks. They would like to enable digital distribution, remove error and security risks, and add value to the documents. Copies of the documents need to be archived for future call center access, and all archived copies must be clearly marked. Terms and conditions or legal disclaimers must be added to the document, many of which might be a regulatory requirement. And they need to eliminate the use of pre-printed stationery to save cost, waste, and the potential for incorrect stationery use. So this workflow is going to show you a number of things. We're going to show job bursting based on the extracted and interpreted data, plus the later merging of jobs into a sorted print file. We're going to look at the addition of branding, letterheads, terms and conditions, and a trans promo marketing voucher. There'll be multi-destination routing, so we're automatically creating a printed, emailed, and archived version of specific documents. The addition of appropriate security in the form of password protection will be used for documents that are distributed by email. And for archiving, we will be using the extracted document metadata and sending the content into two repositories. One will be the document library for the solution, the second will be SharePoint. We're going to watermark the documents that are stored in those archives, so they are clearly an archive copy, and we will send a notification email to confirm that the archiving has been completed. Now, why is all this important and beneficial to the customer? Automation ensures efficiency, repeatability, and accuracy for documents that are routed and stored. Documents can be quickly retrieved from an archive using metadata or document content as search values. And that means that call center operatives can immediately review documents that are identical to those that have been sent to the customer. Document and repository security can be maintained, indeed enhanced, and pre-printed stock issues are removed, including the cost, obsolescence, storage, and operational errors and risks. And all actions are recorded in the audit log, so compliance and reporting requirements are supported. If we take a look at the workflow from a high level, and there is quite a lot going on here, then you'll have a better understanding of what it is that you'll see on the screen in the next few minutes. But we'll start the process by submitting a document. That document is made up of multiple invoices, so the solution will initially burst that into individual jobs, reviewing the content of each of those individual invoices. That will allow it to extract account, customer, and invoice details. It will allow it to add the correct branding to the jobs. It will be able to add trans promotional voucher if required and based on specific rules. And it will be able to create print, email, and archive versions of the documents, and then split into 3 individual work streams. For the print stream, the documents will be sorted by the account number. OMR marks will be added to aid finishing and envelope stuffing later on. The documents will then be merged back into a single print file, which will then be held in a secure release queue until required, at which point it can be released and then printed and distributed and posted as required. For the email stream, we will add the correct terms and conditions to the document, and that'll be based on the rules, and it might be language specific or customer specific. We can then update the attached document name so that the attachment in the email means something to the end customer. We can do a database lookup and establish the password that should be applied to that attachment, as well as the email address of the user or the customer that it's going to. And then once all that is in place, we can send the email automatically. For the archive stream, a watermark will be added to the archive document, so it's clearly visible that this is an archive rather than an original document. And that can be based on specific rules and actions. We will create a folder structure within the archive if one doesn't already exist, and we will store the document into that archive, sending a confirmation email once complete. The specific technology that we'll be using for today's demonstration is the Control Suite platform from Kofax, who are one of the major brands that we work with. I'd now like to hand you over to my colleague, who will take us through the actual demonstration.
Thank you, Stephen, for that introduction. Hi, everyone. My name is Nick Pugh from Original. I'm a pre-sales technical analyst. So I'm going to take you through this scenario here that Stephen describes some of the typical issues. What we're looking at is the actual document. So this is a 37-page file, and there are a number of issues with this document if it was printed in the traditional way and processed in the traditional way. First one is these are multi-document or multi-page documents. So the first customer, as you can see here, has got 6 pages. Next one's got 5, and so forth all the way through. So they're not fixed group size. So what that means is that as far as this document being put into envelopes and mailed out is, it's an impossible process because you can't get a mailer to insert documents unless there's any intelligence on the documents, and this document does not have any intelligence, any barcode or OMR or inserter marks that it's going to follow. So what's going to end up happening with this document is going to be printed in full, and then it's going to be dumped onto a table in a sorting room with a room full of people are going to manually pull it apart, looking for the end of document 1, looking for the end of document 2, end of document 3. And there's a number of problems with that process, as Stephen outlined, that it's a slow process, it's a time-consuming process, it's a labour-intensive process, and it's a high-risk process as far as security of documents are concerned, in that it wouldn't be inconceivable for occasionally someone's fingers to pick up the extra sheet from Mr. Harper's mailing and put it into Mr. Gamage's mailing, and say then have a big concern over GDPR or data protection because this kind of thing shouldn't happen. There's also no branding on the documents, we don't have any letterheading on there. We're going to add some letterheading onto those documents. We're going to make the documents split on the page boundaries. But the more important thing in this particular run is, and we're looking and particularly focusing on this person here, Mrs. Barclay, with an invoice, with an account number of ending 4621. Mrs. Barclay's got multiple accounts, but different products within. She's got the same account but different products, so she's got different invoice numbers. So if we take a look as we spin through, we'll find when we come to it, just looking for the next Mrs. Barclay. There we go. So this is now in page 24. She's got another 3-page bill, same account number, a different invoice number. And again, we go on a little bit further. She's got a 3rd one, and none of her bills or her product bills are running consecutively. And there's a final one at the end there. So I think in total, she's got 5 invoices in this run. And again, what that's going to mean, because there's no intelligence, no sorting, no mail householding or concatenation. At the creation stage, Mrs. Barkley is going to get 5 envelopes. It's going to be 5 times the postage cost, and it's not going to do your customer satisfaction any good as to why you as a business perhaps are not more intelligent in the way that you produce and send out your documents. So we're going to be able to resolve all of those issues. Finally, there's also quite a lot of white space on some of these documents, or certainly inside the envelope packs. So standard inserter, if it was inserting A4 into a C4 envelope, perhaps would be 7 pages without doing a fold. So perhaps on the documents where there's only 3 pages, we could add a Transpromo marketing page. So what we've decided is that as we process this job, that certain people, and I think it's perhaps if our selection criteria was if the customer is a doctor, then we're going to add a Transpromo marketing page in. I'm just trying to find doctor in the run somewhere. There he is. So it's anybody with the account number of this or a gender or salutation, perhaps is the better word, of doctor, is going to get a Transpromo marketing message inviting them for a free meal and drink at the original bar. So let's now see what this looks like in action, and hopefully some of those concepts, and the issues that I've explained with that document will be seen. So I'm going to drop this in. Now this is only a 37-page file. It could be very easily a 37,000-page file. So the problem is just exacerbated an infinite number of times. Again, it could be coming from a host system, AS400, IBM iSeries, from SAP. It could be coming from anywhere. We're using Hot Folder to drop it in, so I'm literally just going to drop that into my Hot Folder in source. And as that comes in, I'm just going to shoot straight over to Output Manager, and you'll see hopefully that document arrive and then begin the bursting process. Now there's an awful lot of stuff just going on in front of you as you're looking there at the moment. So what I'm going to try and do is break that down and explain exactly what happened. So we dropped one file in. That one file is being burst, or has been burst. We'll just wait for the processing to finish on the elements, just so we can stop. And again, I'm slowing this down a lot. In fact, I'm slowing it down to the point where I've disabled things from happening. Otherwise, a file would go in, everything would disappear out, and I would not have the opportunity to explain what is going on. But if we just sort by destination name, we've got a number of things going on. So we've got the original file here, which is been broken down into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 parts. And we've extracted, you can see the column here, account number. So this is the original batch that came in, split into the 10 parts. You can see we've extracted the account number and also the invoice number. We've additionally done, and I didn't mention it in the preamble, but what I should have mentioned is, as well as all the other problems, one of the issues was one of the customers had asked for their job not to be printed, to be emailed. So we're doing a database lookup. So we call this a treatment type, and it's looking up this account number and this invoice number and returning a value which says either print or email. And you'll see that HG1821, account number 0237, is going via email. If it's going via email, there'll be a further database lookup to work out the email address that it's going to. You can see we've also extracted the salutation. So there's where our doctor comes in. You can see that the doctor's had an additional voucher put in. That's our Transpromo marketing message. The jobs that are going via email have had terms and conditions files. These are the file names that are going to get added and merged into the document. And what's going to happen in a moment as I release these jobs, a whole series of the jobs are going to the document library. So there's this sector here. You can see that they've been renamed and they're pointing towards the document library, and they will go into the document library, the internal Output Manager document library, in a particular structure. The jobs going via email will go directly out on email as soon as I release them, and we'll take a look at those as well. And we're also sending jobs directly to this section of jobs directly to SharePoint as well. So Let's release some of these jobs at these destinations. That's, you can see there, that's why none of the jobs went anywhere, because I deliberately put a hold on them. So I'm going to release the document library jobs. That's this section here. And just by doing an enable, oops, sorry, I meant to press enable. So they're all gone, or they're going. So they've gone to the Output Manager document library. We've got a whole bunch of jobs that are waiting to go to SharePoint. And again, let's just enable those. And they will steadily tick away and go off to SharePoint. We've got one job waiting to go, or two jobs is it, waiting to go on email. So this is the one that's going out on email. So we're going to enable that one, which is there. And what you'll see in a minute after everything's finished disappearing on its way is there's a number of jobs left, which are what I'm going to talk to you about next. So we'll just wait for these jobs to head out, and they're just on their way. So these are the jobs that we're left with. These are the individual jobs that have been broken and burst into the individual components. Let's just take a look at one of them so you can see exactly what's now happened. So we've added the logo to the document. We've added the watermarking because this is going to the document library. Actually, this one's not, but not to worry. Let's just take a look at another one. So you can see that they are the individual subcomponents. So this is a 3-page document, and that's exactly what we've got there. So we split on the page boundaries, regardless of where those page boundaries are. So let's take a look at a separate one again. This is a 4-page, and you can see it's 4 pages and it's split on the page boundaries. Just waiting for those last few jobs to go out to SharePoint. And again, I'm doing this manually. This would have happened automatically, that after the breaking apart of all the documents, we call it bursting, there needs to be a remerging process. I'm doing it manually, but this would almost certainly have been defined as an automatic process, whereby at a certain time of the day, after a certain length of time since the first file arrived, when there's a certain number of pages or a certain number of documents or a trigger file has arrived, to start resorting these back into order. So how long do we wait? Depends on the business process requirements for how long do we wait before we've got all the files that we want to try and merge back together. It could be that we're receiving files from the invoice department, the credit control department, and the goods in department. We're receiving those documents and we're waiting for a certain amount of time before we start merging them together to try and do the mail householding. So I'm going to go ahead and run this manually, which is a ad hoc rule. Those jobs will now merge back into hopefully one file. There we go. So there's our new file. You can see there's now 35 pages in it. We can take a look at it. So please try and remember, ignore the fact that it's internal on it. That's a slight error. That should only be on the archive copy, but that's easily fixed. Please try and remember the original order that things are in. What we've done is we've broken these accounts apart. We've separated the ones that are going by email and taken them out. And we've now resorted them by account number order, which is a more logical order. So if we just take a look, just spin through, we just get it onto single page. And then just hit page, there we go. So we've got the first 4 pages are for, and there we go. This is our trans promo message for Dr. Blanchard, which I promised the doctor would have a free drink and meal at the original bar. So there's his special offer page. Now we get to Mrs. Barclay, and it's, you see her first document set there, 6 pages, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Mrs. Barclay's second bill, 1, 2, 3. Oops. Mrs. Barclay's third bill, page 1 of 2. So that's a third bill, 2 pages. And then on to Gamage for 5 pages. And the remaining people are individual document pages. So we've resorted them. We've added the forms overlay for our branding. We've added trans promo marketing messages where necessary. What you haven't seen is any barcoding for machine insertion, so we're just going to do that. And I'm again routing this to or taking it off the hold and readying it so that it will go to our printer, which actually isn't a printer, but I'm using a fake printer. And it will appear in my All Digital Telecom out folder down here in just a few seconds once that's processed. There we go. And there's the document that's just been created. And again, you know, this is a batch run of 37,000 pages. So we're going to put some batch header or control sheets or job ticketing or job information sheets onto the top of the pile. So we've added a document which says there are 35 pages in this document. We've added a trailer page as well. So we know we've got the end of the job as well. And it's the number of envelopes within that mail pack. And let's just go back to the start again and just show you what those documents look like. You can see we've added over on the left hand side some machine intelligence. So these marks down here in this area are OMR or optical mark recognition, a little bit of an old technology, sometimes known as gate marks. We've also added a 2D barcode. Data matrix, I believe that one is, and a 1D barcode there. Now we wouldn't need to add all 3 types of different marking technologies, but I'm showing you that we can add 3 different types of marking technologies so that you can see the different types. We would only really need one of them, and within each one of them the information is effectively the same. There's a HRI just underneath that particular one there, and this basically says it's job 1, page 1, document 1. And it's a sequential, so that when the mailing machine that's inserting these automatically, it will read the barcode and know how many pages are in the particular document for this job or for this set. If a page is missing, it will still feed it, and it will divert the offending document set out of a divert flap or an inspect flap. For someone to manually investigate and keep feeding the remainder of the job that keeps the speed of the mailer up. Adding this type of intelligence to documents can speed your mailing speed from hand sorting at maybe 100 envelopes an hour, depending on the mailer, going up to if it's mail insertion on a Pitney Bowes, Kern, Bell and Howell, or whichever type of mailer, maybe up to 1,500 mail packs per hour. So one machine can do the work of 15 people. And remember also, these are invoices, they're time sensitive. You know, the quicker that you can get them out, the quicker that you can get your money back in. So that's the end of the production print side of things. But what I want to just show you is we saw some jobs going off to document libraries. We saw jobs going off to email. So we're going to show you the internal document library, Output Manager library here. So we've set up a filing structure or digital telecom, and then by date, and then jobs that were going by email will appear there. That's an email job. Jobs going via print. So again, every time this runs, it will put it into an account number. If I run it today, it would go back in. If I run it tomorrow, it would create a new folder. Could be, you know, the top level folder is account number and then by date. So you can keep all of the invoices for a particular customer together in one folder. You can perform and save queries. So if you were looking for Mrs. Barclay's docs, you can immediately click a query that actually then does, which will show you what that query does, account number, equals there. So you can quickly locate documents. These queries can either be private queries or document library queries. So we did a query there looking for Mrs. Barclay's documents, but let's just take a look at the email document that went. And just to show you that we're not sending documents via email in an unprotected format, because that would be rather silly to do that and probably violate lots of GDPR requirements. So the password required to open this particular document was the account number. No, it wasn't. It was the invoice number, which was 0002320. I typed the wrong password in, so let me just try that one more time. Apologies. Oh, it's 23017. Sorry, my mistake. 0002317. Oh, come on. One more time. It's a long demo, so please excuse me. Yes, I would like to. 0002317. There we go. So password protection and encryption possible of documents going out via email. So this is just a copy of the document that went via email in the document library. Where did the actual job go? Let's take a look at that. So in my webmail up here, we will have had a whole variety of emails coming out. So these are the email notifications for jobs going into SharePoint. Here's a notification that the job's going to the document library, and this is a digest one. So rather than sending lots of individual emails, it's one email with all the jobs that were processed in that one particular run. The email going to, there's the actual email. So this is the one that was sent to the customer. So you can see this is HG181 account number 002317. Again, customized message and the actual document. And again, I think it's because it's password protected that it's not going to let me open it, but we'll see why. Okay, not to worry on that one. But it should have been able to. There we go. Let's see if we can open it with Firefox. Yeah, 0002317. And again, that one's there as well. So let's just show you a different way of accessing the web console. That's sorry, the document library is through the Output Manager web console. And again, very briefly, just going to show you logging in and showing exactly the same thing that we saw within the Thick console. So again, we can view documents within the library. Let's just pick on a print one for a change. And again, they'll be rendered and shown complete with all of the elements that they would have had when they were processed. What I haven't shown you is some of the jobs that, again, we archived to two different places. In the real world, that wouldn't be necessary, or probably wouldn't be necessary. You'd want to go to one or the other, but we did archive off to the our SharePoint site. So within our invoice demo site, there is a, which folder are we? This one, 23rd of the 2nd. And again, here are all the individual files with their invoice numbers, with their account numbers, with their treatments. We could add any columns of any metadata that we needed to here. Let's just take a look at one of them. And again, that's rendering through, showing that full document, just as it would have been printed, apart from the fact that we've got the erroneous internal archive on the ones that should have been printed. It should have it on the jobs that are going into SharePoint. I think the only other thing that I wanted to show you was, again, one of the cool features. We're sending a notification using SharePoint to notify users that a new job has arrived. And again, you can see this particular email, adding a new document. So we can click on this, and that would be a direct link straight into SharePoint. So useful if you're perhaps using this to inform customers and they've got access to your SharePoint or wherever your archive is. They can be viewing jobs electronically rather than you printing them, and you know, having a web presentment to them. Okay, I think I've covered everything that I wanted to discuss. Stephen's going to talk to you a little bit more now and summarise perhaps what we saw there and some of the other possibilities that we might have done. So thank you for sticking with me, and hope you found that very enjoyable and informative. Over to you, Stephen.
Thanks, Nick. Let's have a quick recap of what we've seen. So this demonstration was looking at document bursting, sorting, the use of branded letterheads, promotional vouchers, and then an email archive and print output stream. The customer requirement was that the paper-based and manual processes with no specific security or error prevention needed to be simplified, automated, and those manual tasks removed. They wanted to enable digital distribution, remove error and security risks, and add value to the documents that they were using. Documents had to be archived for future call center access, and those archived copies had to be clearly marked. Terms and conditions needed to be added where appropriate, and they wanted to remove the use of pre-printed stationery to save money and waste, and obviously remove the risk of incorrect stationery use. In terms of what we've seen job bursting, we've seen those branded letterheads being used, we've seen terms and conditions being added, and in the case of the doctor, we've seen a trans promotional voucher being included in the document. We've had multi-destination routing through print, email, and archive, and we've added the appropriate security in the form of password protection. Archived documents have had a watermark, and there has been an email notification confirming that documents have been stored in the repository. And this was important for the customer because they wanted efficiency, repeatability, accuracy. Documents had to be quickly retrieved. Security had to be enhanced. Pre-printed stock had to be removed from the process, and everything had to be logged, compliant, and audit and reporting requirements supported. Other things that we could have done, we could have included additional machine readable data or enhanced security features within the document. We could have extended the document processing to be based on data that we had extracted and then made decisions around document modification or imposition, routing options, or even adding additional artifacts into the document. We could have uploaded information into a line of business system or database to support additional business processes or reporting. And we could have initiated additional document workflows. So the output from this workflow could be the input to several other workflows or the trigger that starts those other workflows. Now, I hope you found this interesting and informative. If you would like further information, please visit our website, www.audiginal.com, where you'll find lots of detail and you can contact us for more information. Thanks ever so much for your time.